Hey everybody, this is Grace. I thought I'd get out of here while I can. Today is hopefully the last day of this heat wave, and the temperatures for the next 9 days look pretty good. We kind of missed our normal weather for June, actually pretty much the whole year. So our norm, we beat records. Yeah, record highs for the daytime, record highs for the nighttime. You know, we usually think of them as lows, but no, we beat them as highs, and not the lows, but the highs. For the it was confusing when the weather person said it. I got the gist, but anyway. And today I'm thinking about this with. I remember when I was probably, I'd say maybe in my 30s, possibly even before I thought about it. But especially, I think it was in my 30s, because I was talking about it a lot online, and it could have been 40s. I can't remember. A lot of time's gone by in my life. And anyway, about people who are nice, sweet. That sometimes people think that they are naive, innocent, and that therefore they can take advantage of them. Now, I remember I used to think about it that way. That too many people thought I was nice, sweet. Well, I was nice. Sweet, innocent, naive, all this, And I'm like, if they only knew, I mean, I am nice, but, yeah, I wasn't sheltered and all that. And if they think I didn't know what they were doing, really, it was like, something's not right with them. But the thing about it, I was thinking today, is how, that, some people would say, even I would say, okay, that could be in a way blaming the victim. Okay, in a way. Like they're, like, acknowledging it that way, thinking of it that way, that they're seeing me as innocent and sweet, and therefore, naive, dumb, even, whatever, could be, like I said, twisting around that and blaming myself. But when instead, I have said this before. I've been doing videos on stuff like this for how long now? At least, I'd say around 7 years. I don't even know how long. And I was, before making video, I was writing about it for many, many years. People that were narcissistic or just any kind of abusive. And I was way back then. And I remember saying that because of the topic, and because I was talking about it, and because I was bringing about awareness back then, a lot of bringing about awareness, we can go back into the 1990s with that. That because I was doing it, people would see me as rather innocent, because you're not supposed to talk about that. You see what I'm saying? And even to this day, some people have that kind of attitude, that you must be, the person doing it must be, some form of ignorant to even, talk about this topic in a way of, I have been a victim. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I was clapping my hands, by the way. But, yeah. And I knew that, I recognized it way back then, that they would think that. Okay, but no, not at all. So. Okay, that reminded me of this guy that I used to date. It was back whenever Adam and I were separated, and he was just a few years older than I, and he told me that I live in a pink fuzzy bunny and white fluffy clouds world. And I was like, boy, he doesn't know me at all. No, because of the things and he really thought that I hadn't seen anything in my life, that was bad. And we had dated, I think, wow, a long time by then. And some people, that's how they are. They think that. Anyway, let me get on to this. But really, okay, they may think that, but if we do that, we kind of put it around on ourselves. I'm just going to say I do. I might see it this way, that I'm kind of turning it around on myself, because my view is that the people who are like this just go trying to find anybody. It doesn't matter to them. If they think that they, they don't care. I don't think they even think if they can get away with it. They just, this is who they are. This is what they are. This is how they are. They just go, they treat whomever. They're focused on them. Okay. It just, how do you describe it? It's who they, like I said, who, what, how, all that they are. So, okay, and yeah, you're probably hearing the air conditioner in here a little bit louder than usual. It's 97 degrees right now. It's 7:29 p.m. Anyway, so, but before I was thinking of it that way about it, it could be us blaming ourselves, the victim of them, or me. I shouldn't say us, just me. I was thinking about also some point, maybe we all mixed up in this today, is that if people think of you as nice, sweet, gentle, innocent, naive even, and you know better in your mind, but that's not really a bad thing. I think some things just got so twisted. Seriously, it's been so twisted that some people shouldn't feel, it's good to be good, decent person. I just call them a good, decent person. That is a good thing. It's not something we should be embarrassed about or ashamed of or try to change, especially, oh my goodness, what? You're going to change something I remember when I was younger, I used to say, don't become what you hate, and that is abusive. Don't become abusive. Don't change for people so they'll see you a different way, which that different way would be just as bad as they, you see? Yeah. And still to this day, I know that because I say this, some people say, boy, is she naive, boy, is she ever... she just isn't with it. She just doesn't know. She must have lived a sheltered life. Don't some of us who are nice and all that, we just wished we had lived a sheltered life? Sheltered from this kind of thing. But then there's that point about being, I'm going to jump ahead while I'm thinking on this line, that we haven't been sheltered. And but it is that there is no, I've said this before, no possible way that we can know exactly what that type is going to do next and say next. And I used to talk a lot about it with the smear campaigns, what they're doing behind the back, your back and all that. There's no possible way we can know what they're going to come up with next. But when it happens, we're the ones who are, far too often people say, you are naive. What was that? Really? Okay. A couple of things happened all at once there. So I had to pause. One of them was that some people drove up behind me, and I've often wondered if they held church services in their home. That's how I grew up. I grew up in a church that they held them at their homes. We had two main groups of elders, two married couples, elders. I think the main one was in their 90s. They both were in their 90s. The other one they were probably in their 60s, I guess. But they held them at home. Anyway, and I think that's what was going on. With some people were driving up, and yeah, I still think so. But anyway, so where was I? Okay, so anyway, yeah, like I was saying, all this stuff, all together, is that it has become twisted. And I remember even in, I'm guessing earlier, I'm just going to say earlier years, I'm not going to say when, maybe 30s, 40s, I don't know. But, thinking that things had become so twisted that if you're going to stand out, if you're going to stand out, you got to be a good, decent person. Seriously. I mean, if you want to be different, stand out and be different, it would be to be a good, decent person, because the norm, even back then, I was thinking this way, the norm had become bad people, basically. Evil, wicked, however you want to label them, say that they are, their behaviors. The people who wanted to stand out, I mean, they really stood out, and it was not in a good way, but did they care? But they stood out in a negative, and it was so popular, so it definitely is now, so common, and that's what it is, very common. I was watching, I'm not going to name the show, but it's on TV, and I knew, seen one, this, same kind of thing. It's a series, and I've seen one similar to it. I watched for years, and I knew to expect, some of the people who were more, they dress like you read under under histrionic behaviors. They're histrionic behaviors. They dress very provocative, very wow. Just they're gonna stand out for certain. And I was thinking, I'm sure I'm gonna see one or two, maybe one in an episode here and there. It was every episode in several. Okay, I'm talking. They really want to stand out. Very provocative. Is there even an inch of clothing? No, not that bad, but you get what I'm saying. Really, when you can pretty much see everything, and that's not considered good to some people. Some people that they think that's wonderful, that's great, fantastic. It's the norm, and it's becoming too much of the norm, really. And like they were trying to get rid of histrionic personality disorder out of the DSM, didn't happen, thank goodness. It needs, I really do think, I know there's a pun in here, I've said that before, that they need to, there needs to be a lot more attention paid to that. It does. Really. But I have been wondering lately, do you see many good, decent people? Really? People who aren't trying to con others. And this is where I want to get to in my life. Here I am, 59 years old. When am I ever going to be around, more people who are good, decent people more than the evil, twisted, wicked, abusive types? When in my life is that going to happen? And where would I find them? And I know some people will say, church. I have tried that before. Back in my, how old was I back then? 40s, I guess? And some of the stuff scared me. It really did. It was like some form of prejudice, like where I live is considered very wealthy area, the suburb. And I went to a church, and I joined a women's group for church, and I walked in. The first thing they said, one of the women asked me, and she was the one that ran it. She asked me, she goes, "Are you from?" and then the name of this suburb, and I said, "Yes." She says, "Good," and walked off. I went, "Whoa!" Doesn't take a sociologist to figure that one out. I'm a sociologist, and I could figure it out easily. Yeah, and that's not what I want to go to church, where I want to go to church at all. So, really. Okay, but I never liked the idea of going to a church, for that kind of purpose. Anyway, as it was, my mother, back when I was separated, she told me that I needed to go and find a good, decent man, and how to do it was to go to church. She said, "Mom, that shouldn't be a reason to go to church." And I tried it, and right after that, I told her about it in a different one. I didn't try that. I went to the church, and there was a guy. The people looked like zombies. They were zombies, And one guy kept, around my age back then, kept following me around, and it was creepy. It was creepy. I don't think that is that way at every church, but like I said, I grew up when we had church in the home, the elders' homes. So it wasn't ever. I've been to other churches since then, and none of them were pleasing to me. It was too much like that kind of stuff. Things that just don't feel like you go to church for that reason. But I had tried to join a church, more than one, to join a church. So how did I get from there to there? Well, good, decent people. I want to be around good, decent people that have good hearts, good souls, good minds. And so I'm wondering where they are. Really, not just one. Although if I had just one that was on the same, like one friend that was on the same kind of wavelength even, that would be great. But anyway, you know what? I think I'm going to wrap this up, and I'll talk to you on another video. Bye.